Hey everyone, Nicholas Falato, the Big Blue Banter podcast here to break down Jason Garrett's opening script from the loss in Week 1 to the Denver Broncos. Let's get right to it. First play of the drive is 21 personnel. I like this alignment right here. We have the ball on the far hash away from these two receivers who are split out pretty wide, and I love what the Giants end up doing with Sterling Shepard here pre-snap. Let's roll it and then we'll break it down. So the setup, we're going to motion, orbit around, and run the football. And this is one of the better runs of the game, sadly enough, the first run of the game. We'll look at it from the end zone copy, but I do love the long motion from Sterling Shepard orbiting around Saquon Barkley in 21 personnel, power gap concept. Let's look at it from the end zone angle real quick. So here we are. We see Elijah Penny right here. We're going to pull the backside guard to the play side. And backside guard is Will Hernandez to kick out the unblocked defender, who will be right here. Caden Smith is going to double team and climb up to this linebacker. Watch the block by Caden Smith because it is excellent. Really assists Andrew Thomas in dominating this rep. Square up against this 4 technique. You can see that here. Contacts made. Caden Smith chips the outside shoulder of the 4 technique, gets him turned, allows advantageous position for Andrew Thomas, while Caden Smith then goes, climbs, and finds Josie Jewell. That is just an excellent rep right there from Caden Smith. Solid run from Saquon Barkley that could have been a lot better if it wasn't for Kareem Jackson flying in there to deliver a low hit. And he's really, really good in run support. But I do like this play. We know the Giants ran a lot of power gap last year, a lot of counter, which we did not see in Week 1, to be honest. And I love the orbit element here just to kind of preoccupy the back end and the second level defenders to focus on Sterling Shepard, even if it's for a split second. But here comes the backside guard. Makes contact. Penny locates. Pretty solid hole there. If Kareem Jackson misses or if Saquon Barkley gets just a little bit upfield further, he was a little impeded earlier in the rep, then maybe this could have been an even bigger play just because he had to avoid number 93 right here who kind of busted into this play. Nick Gates had a really difficult block on the pin-pull concept to try and pin someone who was originally a 3 technique, and Nate Solder didn't really get enough of them, so that's kind of a difficult block for Nick Gates. But a solid gain, the first play of the Giants offense. Now let's move on to the second play. This is just a Jason Garrett play if I've ever seen one. Watch the route combinations. Boom. What do we have? We have a slant and a flat, and we have a stick and a flat with Devonte Booker releasing out of the backfield, little spot, little curl, whatever you want to call it. Play just goes dead. This is a staple of Jason Garrett right here. Loves his slant flat, loves his stick flat. Try to pick up a couple yards, maybe get a 3rd and short, possibly pick up a first down. These plays are low upside type plays, and over the last 2 years within the Giants offense, they haven't really been high floor type of plays. And I know a lot of Giant fans aren't huge fans of these route concepts, which I feel like they do have merit, but they ran far too often and way too predictable for defensive coordinators. Here's just the blocking up front. Looks like Shane Lemieux, who's playing through a partially torn patellar tendon. And again, he didn't play the entire game. Ben Bredesen played the second half. Gets slapped away a little bit there. So this sets up a 3rd down and short. Now, a 3rd and manageable, I guess I should say. Manageable at Jace. What I love about this is Daniel Jones gets a free play here. But I want you to watch the pre-snap to post-snap safety rotation and how Daniel Jones diagnoses that to realize that he has a one-on-one matchup with Darius Slayton deep. Now, if you look at this pre-snap right here, we have a 3-by-1 set running back in the backfield to the boundary side, 2 high safety look. This looks like it could be man coverage. Man coverage right here. It could be a 2-man under, but Daniel Jones has to diagnose that. So gets the jump off sides, knows he's going to have the flag. Looks up real quick, sees this safety kind of rotate towards the middle of the field while this safety drops down on the hash, playing a robber role for any, whether it be the number 2 or the number 3 receiver to come across here to pick up any kind of crossers and just jam up the middle of the field. But while he drops down here, Daniel Jones' eyes quickly dart up to the one-on-one matchup with Darius Slayton and this cornerback. It's something that Daniel Jones did a very, very good job with back in 2019 with Darius Slayton. You can see what happens here. We'll run through it one more time. Big play. Wish Slayton didn't get tripped up because we know the Giants don't get any points here. But I do love the shot play. I like the route combination, and I love Daniel Jones realizing what the safety is doing and then making the right decision based off of this safety's actions. Because the route concept, we just have an out route from the number 3 and then 2 verticals, this one with an inside bender a little bit. And I like these vertical shots because you get one-on-one matchups a lot of the time that Daniel Jones likes taking those shots, as we see here and as we saw a lot in his rookie season, not as much last year. One more time. Three goes out. He's open if they really wanted it, but Daniel Jones knows he has this free play, loves what the safety did, attacks. Beautiful throw from the far hash. That is just a lot of power. You can see it right here. He's on the far hash here. This goes all the way to the sideline. Watch how he steps up in the pocket, and watch how he uses his hips to put so much torque and power into that ball. Very, very impressive from Daniel Jones. And that sets up Kadarius Toney's first snap. You just had a big play, flip the field, and you're in field goal range. I do not love this play because it's very, very predictable. Now let's run through it and then we'll break it down. Von Miller was not the only defender there. He was not. Kadarius Toney, you bring him into this game, you have him as the number 2 off the line of scrimmage. He's already looking in this direction before the snap even happens. And when you see the alignment, you can tell there's something funky up. And we'll see that from the end zone angle here in a second. Look at the split between the center and Will Hernandez, the play side guard. That is considerable distance compared to this split, signifying that something could be coming to the double Y side. Something Jason Garrett likes to do from time to time is run certain looks to the double Y side, to that strong side of the formation. And with Kadarius Toney, a nice shiny new toy that this offense just drafted in the first round, it just seems kind of predictable that they would run this type of play to the boundary nonetheless. And what really blows this play up is this lack of blocking from Kyle Rudolph and Nate Solder. It seems like Kyle Rudolph expected Nate Solder to help him with Von Miller, but he ends up just having to basically chip Von Miller, leave him as an unblocked defender, essentially, which was not by design, in my opinion, or probably in anybody's opinion, but you know the end result. You see, look at that space right there. Kadarius Toney comes, little touch pass. Everyone's eyes are on Kadarius Toney right now. 23 is kind of watching Caden Smith. Von Miller sees. And then we have Nate Solder blocking the 3 technique here. And I'm pretty sure Kyle Rudolph expected help here because he sets up on his outside, steps to the outside, gets a piece of him, and then goes. I think he expected Nate Solder to help. That did not happen. Kadarius Toney gets this touch pass. Even if Von Miller was blocked incredibly well here, you still have all these other defenders who are in the area. 31's right there. It looks like 45 was going to be there as well. So this is just a predictable play call. I like the creativity. I like the touch pass. I don't like the predictability about how Jason Garrett goes about play calls like this. It just seems like defensive coordinators are always tracking on what he's attempting to do. And that sets up this halfback draw we're about to see because the Giants were in field goal range, and now they're getting out of field goal range after that loss of 6 yards there. So what does Jason Garrett do? He runs a halfback draw, and I know it's conservative. A lot of people don't like it. It's not explosive, but Jason Garrett is thinking, I want to try to get myself back into a third and manageable, get a couple cheap yards, and possibly set myself up to be in field goal range once again. And that's where his mindset is. But the blocking wasn't sufficient up front, and we'll show you exactly why in a second. It didn't seem like Denver really bit on the draw part of this play. Now watch the blocking right here in the alignment. We have a 2 technique over Will Hernandez, and we have a 4-eye shade over here over the inside shoulder of Andrew Thomas, kind of splitting the difference between Thomas and Shane Lemieux. There is a bubble here. Nick Gates, there's nobody over top of him. And that's important because Nick Gates, nobody kind of gets in his way. So what does he do? He climbs up to the linebacker, locates him. That's all well and good. But the inside release of this 2 technique right here creates a pick. And this is just a nice little gain right here, a nice little stunt where that inside release kind of penetrates, then sets a pick. When the looper from the 4-eye shade comes around, Shane Lemieux, there's no way he can get there. There's no way Will Hernandez is going to be able to pick that up because he was beat inside and now he's trying to overcompensate for that. And I get it, Will Hernandez is just trying to wash this defender out of the play because he knows where the run is going. It's on Kyle Rudolph to get rid of Josie Jewell here. He gets in his way, but it didn't matter because from the backside, Shane Lemieux couldn't get his grasp on this defender and just kind of hold him in place. It's a tough block for Shane Lemieux, especially somebody who hasn't been all that effective at making initial contact and dictating snaps. It's just not something Shane Lemieux has really been all that great at, especially when he's injured. But you can see how that disrupts the entire play because Nick Gates is not there anymore, and then you just have penetrator, looper, tackle for loss. Doesn't help that Devonte Booker lost his balance there. It seems like he was slipping quite a bit through this game. And that sets up a 3rd down. You're not in field goal range anymore because of the loss of yardage on the previous 2 downs. And what do you get? You get that 2x2 set. Just a very Jason Garrett-like play. Disappointing. But you have 1, 2, 1, 2. But you have a Y. He's in line there. And on the boundary side, Kyle Rudolph just runs into Josie Jewell. Runs a curl. Little search route up there. Little curl type of route. And then down here, what do you get? Kenny Golladay released off the line of scrimmage. Kind of runs a little curl way past the sticks, setting up a little stick type of route to the outside. All stagnant routes breaking back towards the quarterback, just trying to gain some sort of leverage, some sort of advantage on these defenders. And it just wasn't there. Another unimaginative route concept right there. And you had Devonte Booker in the over the ball, in the middle of the field, as they say, over the ball, OTB, with the center. But I don't blame Daniel Jones for throwing this pass. It was just a little off target to Sterling Shepard, and he had some pressure in his face coming from the Nate Solder and Will Hernandez stunt that was a little confusing from the fact that it was handled okay here. Will Hernandez passes this defender off to Nate Solder. Then when the Bronco tries to come underneath Von Miller, it looks like Hernandez is so late to flip his hips. If you see that there, his feet get stuck in the ground. He knows Miller's coming, but his center of gravity pops up in the air. He's high. Hips are not low. His feet are wide. And his hips are not oriented towards his target. And there's no anticipatory skills to realize that Miller is going to try and undercut this. But Jones still gets rid of the ball, but it wasn't quick enough. And that was the opening drive right there for the New York Giants. We're trying to do a lot of videos over here at Big Blue. Please subscribe and comment on these videos. Like them as well. That would be wonderful. Let's hope on Thursday Night Football against the Washington football team, the Giants kind of really come out, establish an offense, establish that running game, get the quick game going more efficiently, more accurately, and hopefully the protection holds up maybe a little bit better than it did against the Denver Broncos, although it wasn't as bad as I originally expected. So this is Nicholas Falato signing off for Big Blue Banter. Take care, everybody.